Tired of tracking your income and expenses manually in Excel? In this video, I'll show you how to build a fully automated budget tracker form with filters, KPIs, and submitting new transactions to your system. A clean form that writes directly to your sheet. Here's what you're gonna learn. How to create a user-friendly VBA form, how to filter transactions by type, month, and year, how to automate calculations, totals, and net balance, and how to make it look all clean and professional. You don't need any fancy tools, just Excel and a little bit of code. Let's build it step by step. All right, we are in the budget data sheet, the only sheet we have here, with dates from 2023 to 2025, and two categories, income and expenses. And then we have categories. Now we're gonna create a budget tracker. So we go to Developer tab, Visual Basic or All F11. We're gonna insert a UserForm, and we will set the height and the width. So we're gonna set the height to 475, and then we'll set the width down here to 530. Then we're gonna set the name to FRM, shorted for form, budget tracker, and we're gonna leave the caption blank because we will insert a label here on top. That will be our label for the form, and we will call that LBL title. And we can write here budget tracker, and then we're gonna do a text alignment in the center, like so. Maybe making it a little bit smaller. We can also in here change the font size. So for example, if we do 14, it would be something like this. So that could be how we set the title. Then we need some controls here, and we're gonna start with the type. So we're gonna set that here. This is called a combo box, and we're gonna set the height to 18 and the width to 138. Then we need a text box. This is for the amount. And then we need another combo box. We can just copy paste this. And another text box. We can copy this. But this needs to be extended in the height, because this is our description. So we can have additional notes in here. We can, for example, change the height. Instead of having it 18 like the rest, we can have 45. And then it's important that you change here multi-line false. It doesn't allow you to write multi-lines. So when you set this to true, then you can write all the notes you want, and it's gonna jump to the next line. Let's have our labels here. This was the type. Then we have here the amount. The category. And the description. Mark all, right click, align to the left, so they are perfectly aligned. Maybe we still need to put them so they are next to their corresponding boxes. So maybe something like this. This is always something we can adjust along the way. But let's say for now that this is good. Then we need 2 command buttons underneath this. The first one is the submit button, and let's put the height 24. We have the 24 height already, and set the width 65, like so. Copy paste it, insert it next to it. This is our close button. Then we will insert a list box here that will be displaying a full overview over our budget. So the income and the expenses we type in here, or that we have from the sheet already. Then we're gonna have some labels, and for now we're gonna set them here. We have to move them around to adjust them so they are aligned with the columns inside the list box. First one is the date, then we have the type, the category. Basically, we could just copy paste these. The amount here. And then the description. And if we really want to make this the same order, because I can see we have here date. If we really want to make this good, we're gonna do the same order. So it's gonna be date, type, category, amount, and description. So we just have to flip these around. Now you can see we first fill in the type if it's an income or expense, then the category, and then the amount, and then the description at the last. Then we're gonna insert 2 frames here. These are our KPIs and our filtering. So this one we're gonna call KPI. And we're gonna set the height for that to 90 and set the width to 198. Then we can just copy paste it. This will be our KPI filters. Where we can filter through type, month, and year. Inside these, we'll have some labels. We'll have the first label, and we just leave all the labels blank for now. This is where the income is displayed. This is the expenses. And finally, we have the net. Then we're gonna copy paste 3 labels in here, because here we're gonna filter through type, month, and year. And here we're gonna have 3 combo boxes inside, so we can filter through type, month, and year. This is how far we are now. None of this is coded yet. And we'll also need to label all our controls. We started with labeling the title, LBL title. Now we're going to label all the other things, because then the coding will go so much easier. Alright, we have labeled this control already, LBL title. Then we are going to Then we're gonna label the combo box, change it to CPM type. CPM category. Then we have our txt amount. And our txt description. Then we have our submit button here. We're going to call that btn, short for button. Submit. And btn close button. Then we have our frame here. We're going to call that FR KPI, so frame KPI. And let's take the other frame as well. Right away, we're going to call that FRA KPI filters. Then we're going to call this label that will display the income. We're going to call that LBL KPI income. Let's copy paste this. The next one is LBL KPI expense. And LBL KPI net. These three labels, we don't have to change these names. We're also not going to change these labels, named control names here, and also not these, because we're not going to use them directly in the code. But we do need to change these three combo boxes. Let me just copy paste it in. CPM type filter. CPM month filter and CMB year filter. And then the list box, we're going to call that LST entries. And that's all our labels. The rest of the settings, we're going to write that into the code itself. So now we don't have any drop downs yet. And the labels are also not showing because it doesn't have a caption. But we're going to code that now. Alright, let's run the form here. We can see it's gray and the styling is pretty standard, boring. But what we're going to do now is style it so it has a more modern look. And we're also going to see the KPI 3 labels, or at least the colors, to see. So we can see the UserForm in a more modern look. There's a link in the description where you can download this template, plus the StyleForm code that I'm going to show you here. So we're going to double tap here, and then we are going to copy paste the StyleForm code in, and we have it here. I'm not going to go into what it does in details, but here's a quick overview. We're going to use a select case here to perform different measures, different settings of font, color, background, and so on, depending on if it's a label, a command button, combo box, text box, list box, and do some error handling from the KPIs. And this is where it's very important because we're going to have 3 different KPIs in different colors, depending on if it's an income, expense, and a net. And then it's just important that these labels inside FRA KPI filters are labeled type, month, and year. So that would mean type, LBL type, LBA month, and LBL year. Then we're going to double tap on the UserForm and click the UserForm Initialize. I'm just going to make some space here so you can see it. So we're in the UserForm Initialize. Just going to make some space here and write StyleForm me. So style UserForm. And now you can see it has a more stylish look. The buttons are colored and we have the KPI here with the frames, income, expenses, and net. And now we can start coding the different elements in the UserForm. All right, now the next thing we're going to code is the UserForm Initialize, where we put the style me module in, but we need some more things in it. This is basically where we can set the combo boxes, the drop downs, so it has values. And the idea is that we select here income or expense, and whatever we choose, whether it's income and expense, and accordingly drop down list will come over income if we selected that, or over expenses. That's what we're going to set. And we're also going to set these with type, month, and year. We're in the UserForm Initialize here. And the first thing is the entry type drop down. We're going to use a with statement here. So we're going to do with CMB type dot add item dot add item income dot add item expense dot list index equals 0, end with. Now we're going to type the filter and drop down. So we're going to have another with statement here with CMB type filter dot add item all dot add item income dot add item expense. Also here we're going to set list index equal 0 and end with. The next is our monthly filter. So we're going to do it with add item. Then we're going to have one space line January. And let's speed this up, because basically what you need is 12 months. And then we have December. So we have all, and then all the months from 1 to 12 with a number and a line in between, and then all the months. Dot list index equals 0. End with. Then we have our with CMB year filter. But we're also going to have dot add item all. We should always have the option to select all. Then we have add item 2023. And let's just copy paste this 3 times. We have 24 and 25. Dot list index equals 0. End with. And then we're going to load category options based on selected type. So we're going to call, I'm going to comment this out. Call load categories, because we haven't coded this submodule yet. The same go for call load entries. Same goes for call update KPIs. And I'm gonna write it with a comma so it doesn't cause an error, because if we haven't commented this out, it's looking for these three modules that we haven't yet, and then you will get an error. And I spelled it all on purpose with small letters, because when we code this module, then we can comment this out, activate them, and see if it corrects the capital letter, big L, big C, and so on. Let's have a look here. We're going to open here. And what we did was setting the income. We have the income and the expenses. We have nothing in here. But we have all income expenses and all January for the months. I can also see the combo box needs to be longer because it cuts off the month. This is part of the testing when you're building. You will always adjust, but let's adjust it right now. Maybe something like this. And now it looks better. We still need the category that will load depending on which value we have here in the type, if it's an income and an expense. So that would make sense that we take this module right now. So now we're going to code the load categories, which is just to sum up. We don't have any drop downs here. But when we coded load categories, it will dynamically pick one of these lists, either income or expenses. That's what we're going to do now. It's pretty cool. And we're going to do that down here. So we're just going to write private sub load categories with big L and big C. Now we have the module, so we can comment this out and see it corrects it. We'll start with CMB category.clear. Then we're going to do a select case. Select case CMB type dot value case income CMB category dot add item. Then we can have salary. Let's copy paste this down 3 times. So we have 4 options, and you can just adjust it to fit your own need. This could be a bonus, interests, other. That's in case we picked income in the CMB type dropdown combo box we have. In case we have an expense, then we'll have 6 different options here. We'll have rent. Let's copy paste it down. Then we'll have groceries. Then we have utilities. Then we have transportation. Then we have entertainment. Then we have entertainment. And then we have other. And then we need to close our select case. End select case. End select. End select. And now you can see we have the income. We have salary, bonus, interest, other. And now we have the expense drop down. All right. And now we're going to test it. But before we do, it's important we call load categories, not only for UserForm initialize, but also when there's a change in the type. Because we see here, we have the income and we have the salary, bonus, interest, other, but it doesn't actually update. We still have the salary, bonus, interest, other, which is not an expense, it's an income. It's because we need to call it also in the CMB type change. Whenever there's a change happening, we have to call this module we just coded down here. So now it's working. You can see it loads income, we have the salary, and now we'll have the expenses: rent, grocery, utilities, transportation, entertainment, and other. So now we're gonna code the next thing, and that's called load entries. Let's scroll down here, and then we're gonna write private sub load entries and activate it here. And you see it patches load entries with big capital letters, so we're good. Then we're gonna write dim ws as worksheet. We will set ws equal this workbook.sheets and select budget data. That's our sheet name. Then we're gonna dim last row as long. We're gonna dim I as long, and we'll dim entry date as date. We'll dim entry month as integer. We'll dim entry year as integer. And then we're gonna dim filter month as integer and dim filter year as integer. Then we'll have the last row. Set that equal to ws.cells, ws.rows.count, comma 1 dot end Excel up dot row. That's how we're gonna find the last row. So this code and UserForm will pick the whole sheet no matter how many rows there are. Then we're gonna pass month filter. So we're gonna do an if statement here. If CMB month filter dot value equal all, then filter month equals 0. Else if instr CMB month filter dot value, comma, and we're going to make a string here with a line, is greater than 0, then we're missing a parenthesis here. Else if instr CMB month filter dot value, and with this string of line is greater than 0, then filter month equal value split VIL split CMB month filter dot value comma string with a line in, and then we're going to do a 0 here and end parentheses, else filter month equals 0. Then we're going to pass the year in, so we're going to do that with if CMB year filter dot value equal all, then filter year equals 0, else filter year equal val from the CMB year filter dot value, and if. Then we're gonna have the LST entries dot clear, and LST entries dot column count equal 5. We have 5 columns. LST entries the column width equal 80 semicolon 60 semicolon 100 semicolon 60 semicolon 150 for I equal 2 to last row. If is state ws the cells I, 1 the value, then entry date equal ws the cells I, 1 the value, entry month equal month, entry date entry year equal year, entry date. Then we're going to do if state more. If CMB type filter the value equal all, or ws the cells I, 2 dot value equal CMB type filter, and filter month equals 0, or entry month equal filter month, and slash filter year equals 0, or entry year equal filter year, then, and then we're missing the firsts here. So basically, if all these filters are set, we're basically setting all the filters depending on which value we have selected for the combo box at the drop downs. Then we're going to do with LST entries dot add item format entry date comma dd YY, basically date format day month year dot list count -1, 1 equal ws the cells I, 2 dot value, and basically we can copy paste this. There's no need to write it again. And now we're just gonna change the index here, 2, 3, 4, and here 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. End with, end if, end if. Next I. And that's it. Now we just have to copy paste call load entries. When we submit. But I'm gonna comment that out because we need to code the whole submit button, but it needs to be there. I just don't want to forget it. And then into all the filtering, because the idea is when we select our filters here, that the ListBox load accordingly. So here, I'm gonna write call load entries. Also from the month filter, call load entries, and the year filter. And now we can test it. We have everything here. We also need to place the labels a little bit different so they are aligned under each other. But for now, let's just say income, and you can see all the income is selected. Then we choose expenses, all expenses. We choose all, or we can take a month here, and we have January in 2024 and 2025, or June, or all. And then we can pick 2023. Only 2023. Income and expenses. 2024, and so on. And you can also mix it. Now we have 2025 in February. And if we pick income here, it should only show one. So now we picked income in February. We can also pick income in August. Pick all in August. You get the idea. Now we're gonna code the KPIs so they update accordingly. All right, now we need to code the call update KPIs. Let's just go to the bottom here and write private sub update KPIs. And now we can scroll up and activate it here. And you see it changed. We're going to start by dim WS as worksheet. I'm going to set WS equal this workbook plus sheets and have it point to budget data. Then we're going to dim some variables here. We're going to dim last row as long. We're going to dim I as long. And we're going to dim income total as double. We're going to dim expense total as double. Then we're going to dim T type as string, T amount as double. Then we're going to dim entry date as date. And we're going to dim entry month as integer. I'm going to dim entry year as integer. Then we're going to dim filter month as integer. And we're going to dim filter year as integer. And then we're going to dim filter type as string. Then we're going to set last row equal WS cells, WS rows count, 1 dot end Excel up row. And now we're going to pass the month filter. So we're going to do if CMB month filter dot value equal all, then filter month equals 0, else if instr CMB month filter dot value, comma, is greater than 0, then filter month equal val split CMB month filter dot value, comma, string with a line in the parentheses, 0 in the parentheses, else filter month equals 0, and if. Let's scroll down here a little bit. We're going to write if CMB year filter dot value equal all, then filter year equals 0, else filter year equal val CMB year filter dot value, and if, and then we're going to pass the type filter in. We're going to write filter type equal CMB type filter dot value, data. We're going to do for I equal 2 to last row. If is state ws the cells I, 1 the value, then in the parentheses here, then enter date equal ws the cells I, 1 the value, entry month equal month, entry date, entry year equal year, entry date. Then we have the T type equal ws dot cells I, 2 dot value. Then we have a T amount dot ws dot cells I, 4 dot value. If filter month equals 0 or entry month equal filter month in the parentheses and slash filter year equals 0 or entry year equal filter year in the parentheses and slash filter type equal all or T type. Then if T type equal income, then income total equal income total plus T amount. Else if T type equal expense, then expense total equal expense total plus T amount. And if next I. Then we're gonna display the KPI values. We're gonna do that with 3 lines here. Let's scroll down. And we're gonna do that with LBL KPI income.caption. Now we're gonna set the caption to display what the real income is based on our filtering. So we're gonna set that equal income $, and format income total hashtag comma hashtag 0.00 end of string end of parentheses. And we have an error here. What is going on here? We have to end of string here. So now we have the first label. I'm just going to copy paste it, then it's faster because we just have to change a little bit here. The next label is the KPI expense, and you'll see it's way faster to copy paste here. And the third one is the net KPI net. 3 captions set here. The second one is, then you just change income to expenses. You can make some space here, and then you set the format. Instead of the income total is the expense total. And you can check here, did we spell it correctly? Yes, we did. The next one is the net. We're gonna write here net colon space and a $, and format income total minus expense total. All right, then we just need to correct 3 things. I wrote filter type wrongly. It needs to be filter type. And then we scroll down here and find here filter type equal all or T type equal filter type. And then we're missing an end if also here at the bottom, because we have 3 if statements here. And now it should be working. And you can see the filtering is working. Now we're going to take a look at the KPI, because that should update accordingly. When we have expenses and all, it should only show expenses. For January, when we select January, in 2023, in 2025, all in 2025, and income in 2025, and so on. We're going to take a look at that now. All right, now we're just going to insert the module we just coded in the filtering. So we are going to call load entries and then call update KPIs. We're going to do that in the year filtering also, but just to make it clear, we need it for month and for year. So let's take them one by one. Call update KPI and also in the year. And now we can test it. Let's run a test here. Let's say we only want to look at income. You see expenses go to 0. Let's pick expenses. Now income goes to 0. And this also calculates correctly. Let's take all now. And now we're looking at January, the numbers and the data in the ListBox updates. So it seems to be working. Let's take all now and just take 2023. That also seems to be working. We select the year. And this can give the user an overview of what the income is, the expenses, and the net for that year. Also specifically for the month. And they can set it back to select all, so show all. So now we're going to take a look at the submit button. So we're going to double click on the submit. So we have entering an income and an expense from a category and an amount and a description. Then it's time to submit it into the sheet in the list box. We have called the load entries here. We will also have the updated KPI and so on, but let's take that line by line. First, we need to validate required fields. So we're going to write if CMB type the value equal blank, or CMB category the value equal blank, or txt amount the value equal blank, then end if, and then we're gonna have something inside it. We will have a message box. Please fill in all required fields, comma VB exclamation, exit sub, if not is numeric, txt amount the value, then message box amount must be a number, comma VB exclamation. We could also make a key press to the text box that only allow the user to put in numbers. Exit sub, end if. Then we reference the datasheet, dim WS as worksheet, set WS equal this workbook plus sheets, budget data, find next empty row. We're going to do that with dim next row as long, and set next row equal ws.cells, ws.rows.count, number 1, end Excel up, row plus 1. So similar to the last row, but just adding 1 at the end to write it to the next free row. Then we will add to the sheet. I'm going to do that with ws.cells, next row, comma 1, dot value, equal date. Let's copy paste this a few times and change the column 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Actually, we also want to format the date format. So we have here next row 1 dot value. We're going to change that to dot number format equal dd YY, like so. The second column is the type, CMB type dot value, and the third one is CMB category dot value. The fourth one is we're going to use cd bl txt amount dot value in parentheses, and the fifth is the description. So we're going to use txt description dot value and end with, so end with ws. These are all the things we're going to do with the submit. And then we can display a message box, entry added successfully, exclamation mark, comma VB information, And then we can refresh here. Let's remove this for now. So here we're going to call clear inputs. We will call load entries. And we're going to call update KPIs. And this one we haven't coded yet, so let's write a module here. Private sub clear inputs. And now it recognizes. And then we're going to write here CMB type dot value equal blank CMB category dot clear txt amount dot value equal blank and txt description dot value equal blank. So you see you can set it equal blank or dot clear. That's up to you. We'll also validate the inputs up here that all these boxes needs to be filled in. Otherwise the message box popping up. And if the amount is not a number, it gives a message there and exits up. And then we're going to write to the sheet, ending with a message box and clearing input boxes, load entries into the list box called KPIs. Let's have a look here. Let's say we got a income here. That could be an other. And the amount was $1,000 or whatever. And that would be a Christmas present. Then we submit it here. Enter added successfully. And the income instantly increased. And we entered it in December 2025 this year. So that would mean we could just easily filter out here income December. Yeah, we have it down here, but just to show you exactly what it is. The Christmas present here. Let's right now set the columns so they look better, so they are more aligned. And now it looks better. Then we need to unload UserForm, close the UserForm with this button. And that's pretty simple. Just gonna do unload me. So let's open it up from the sheet here. Let's have a shape here. We can just write open form. Open form. Then we go to developer, Visual Basic. And we can just insert a module. It's called sub open form. And write FRM budget tracker.show. That's how we open the form. And now we can attach it to the shape here or the button, open form. And now we open the form and close it down. That completes the build. The form is now fully functional and we can add new transactions, filter through income and expenses, month and year, and our KPI and our ListBox instantly update. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give this video a like and consider subscribing so you don't miss out on future builds. And then I will see you in the next video.